of the Madera County Board of Supervisors now continued. We return from closed session. County Council, anything to report from closed session?
Chairman, there is no reportable action from your closed session.
Okay. Is there anyone to open and close in memory of this morning? Okay, if not, let's remember the victims of terrorism in the Middle East, and we pray for peaceful resolution to all that, and certainly horrible circumstance there for those families this time of year, or any time of year for that matter. Never a welcome thought. So we remember them this morning. As we stand for the invocation, we'll ask Pastor Roger Leach of Valley West Christian Center to come forward and render the invocation. And I'll ask our capable sheriff, Tyson Pogue, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I'm going to read out of Psalms chapter 20 and verse number 4 and 5. It says, may God grant you according to your heart's desire and fulfill all of your plans, and we will shout in triumph at your salvation and victory. In the name of our Lord, we will set up our banners. May the Lord fulfill all of your petitions. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, today that as we open the last meeting for the year of 2023 of the Madera County Board of Supervisors, we ask your blessing. We thank you for a year of good, a year of victories, a year of celebration, a year of fulfilling tasks. And Lord, we thank you for the insight for a coming year, that we will continue to see great things for our county. We pray for our county employees, that you will continue to keep them in safety, keep their families safe, and bless them. We thank you for this county. We ask your blessings to continue, and we pray that in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comment.
The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take any action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Anyone to speak to the board this morning under public comment? Anyone online?
No comments online.
Okay, looks like we have one person coming forward.
Is it on? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Amy Toller with Animal Services. I just have a few fun things we're going to be doing this holiday season with our department. I'd like to share with you guys. First off, Santa Paws. We've already had one already, and we're going to be having another Santa Paws here at the Government Center on the 13th, which is tomorrow, 5:30 to 7:30. Employees are welcome to bring their pets and their families for photos with Santa. Get some holiday collars and toys for the kids. We also will be having another one at the shelter on Friday, 5:30 to 7:30, same thing. Also, Starbucks will be there. They'll be hosting and giving out free coffee and pop cups or puppuccinos, I'm sorry. Also, we're doing Home for the Holidays this month. So all adoptions, dogs, $50, cats are $25. We're reducing our adoption prices because we do have an abundance of animals coming into the shelter every day. So we're reducing adoption fees, trying to get these animals home for the holidays. It's important that the animals do have homes, of course, and what better way than having them spend Christmas with you than Christmas at the shelter. And again, free microchipping. We still are offering free microchipping. We have plenty of microchips. You don't need an appointment for that. Just come on in. We're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. And we also have microchip clinics, but this month we are doing it every day. After this month, we'll be doing them in different remote locations throughout the county. We'll be posting that online, trying to make it more easy and accessible for people to get their animals microchipped. So we'll be doing a couple in the mountain route, Chowchilla, Lavina, Parkwood, Ranchos, different surrounding areas that will make it easier for people to get their dogs and cats microchipped. That way you don't have to just come to the shelter to get it done. Our biggest program, we're doing this month. It's actually starting this week. And it'll be carrying out through of course, the years, but I thought it'd be a fun thing to start because kids are going to be going on to break for the winter, and it's the Kids Reading to Critters program. With that, a child can sign up to volunteer hours, of course, with their parents, and they come in, they pick out a book, grab a seat cushion, and sit and quietly read to the animals. It's a win-win-win for the shelter and for the kids. The kids get to practice their reading. It's a win for the animals because they get that interaction of a child sitting in front of their kennel talking with them. And it's an even bigger win for the shelter if the kid talks their parents into adopting the animal they've been reading to for a couple weeks. So it's a great program. If your kids are on their winter break and you have nothing to do, bring them on into the shelter, sign them up for the volunteer Reading to Critters program, and let them just read to a cat for 30 minutes or a dog for 30 minutes. They can log these volunteer hours with their school as well. I know a lot of schools want their kids doing volunteer hours. This is a great way to do it, and it's a wonderful idea for the animals as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment at this time? Anyone online?
No comments online.
Okay. So we'll close public comment and bring the discussion to the consent calendar. Are there any items to be removed for special consideration? Any questions from supervisors? Hearing none, we'll take it out to the public. Is there any public comment on consent calendar? No comment on public? Okay,
Mr.
I'll bring it
Chair.
back to the board.
I'll move to approve.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
All right. Item 6A.
Board of Supervisors Department, recognition of the Matilda Torres High School football team as Division IV World Champions.
Valley champions, Valley champions.
Sorry.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
yeah, world champions is next, I think. But for now, just get your ring sized and wear that Valley championship ring. First of all, I'd like to say I'm so sorry you guys had to take a half day off from school to be here. I just don't know how you kids are doing it. But anyway, I wanted to recognize you guys for just the hard work and dedication you guys put in. You know, it doesn't happen in a championship game. It happens, years in advance and prep throughout the season. And, unless you've put on a, football helmet and pads, you don't know how trying those times can be sometimes, with understanding the difference between being hurt and injured and going when you don't feel like you can go anymore. And so coaches, I want to thank you guys for instilling all these, these things in these young men and helping them grow and achieve all that they can be. So before I have all the players come up, I'd like to recognize Coach Joseph Marquez for leading these young men and having such a successful season. I would like to note that their last or the championship game, they beat Dos Palos 69-14. So
Yeah.
So Coach Marquez, if you could, would you mind coming up here and saying a few words about your boys?
First off, thank you guys for having us today. Really appreciate the recognition and the support that we're getting. It means the world to us. I think you summed it up pretty great, Supervisor. This team is an amazing team, an amazing group of young men. The hard work that they've put in over the last 4 years was evident this year. And, I couldn't be more proud of them as a group and as individuals, watching them mature, not only as student athletes, but as young men as well, and becoming productive members of the Madera community. So again, thank you so much for having us. And hopefully these guys will continue to make you proud for years to come.
And Coach, if you can stay down here, and boys, if you could bring your certificates. Yeah, and if you guys could bring your certificates down here, we're gonna take a picture in the front. So boys, come on down and share.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, the journey to a Valley Championship starts in your freshman year. Doesn't start in your senior year. And I watched my boys, three of them go to Valley Championships, and what a great accomplishment. You have to compete against literally thousands of schools to get in that position. So it's a phenomenal achievement. And I hope you use what you've learned from this to better your life.
O-line and D-line in the back, please. Come on over here. Come on. Oh, you need to stand up.
That's a good idea.
Here. Stand on it.
I can't stand on that.
I think that is.
1, 2, 3.
All right, Valley champ. Good job, boys.
That's no fair.
That's awesome. Great. Item 6B.
Board of Supervisors Department recognition of the Matilda Torres High School varsity boys cross country team as Division III Valley champions.
So there's something in the water at Torres High, right? Breeds success. So congratulations, cross country boys. Man, what an accomplishment. Just being at the top of your game and calling yourself a champ. You know, coming from someone who, if I ran more than 400 meters, someone need to hook me up to an oxygen mask. And you know, like our illustrious supervisor over here who runs every day. I've never experienced this runner's high that people talk about. I can't do it, but you know, just the work and hours that you guys put in cross country, it really speaks to your dedication and to be at this elite level and call yourself Valley champs. What an accomplishment! Second year in a row, so back to back. Okay. Yes, what I can say.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I just want to add that I want to congratulate the parents and the guardians of all these incredible students, because it takes a lot of work, long hours, mornings and nights, weekends, you know, quite a bit. So I want to acknowledge that. So thank you to those folks as well.
Okay. So congratulations, Coach Jose Herrera, for leading this group of folks. And so, Coach Herrera, would you be willing to come up and say a few words about your team?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us here. There's not much I can say about these kids. Everybody's a hardworking athlete. Um, they went back to back 3 years ago or 2 years ago. They were runner-ups. They're one of the top teams in the Valley, competing up there with Buchanan. We were going back and forth this season. But it's at the end of the day, so that everybody knows, it's like I'm here for these kids to help them out, succeed and become a greater student athletes at the collegiate level. You know, my goal for them is not just Valley titles, hopefully a state title. They were short off the podium from, by a couple points, but hopefully it's fire and fuel for them for next season. Hopefully we get that state title because Madera needs it. Madera has been so successful in running since Dennis DeWitt days back in Madera High in the 80s and 90s. Coach Paris at Madera High winning titles back to back to back at Madera High. They made Madera South. I was a runner at Madera South. My brother ran after me. Just Valley championships, you know, in running here in Madera, but I think a state title needs to come. It's time. But we'll see. But at the end of the day, it's like I want my goal for them is to sign the letter of intent with the 4-Eye scholarship with their families behind their backs, taking a picture, and that's my goal for them. I mean, hopefully it happens with everybody, but I mean, thank you guys for having us here. Next season, we're gonna be competing most likely D1. These kids deserve it. They deserve to compete up there with the best. So, I mean, I think they're ready for it. So it's just, we'll see you next season, but thank you guys.
Thank you, Coach. So, Coach, if you'd stay down here and boys cross country, if you could come down here with your certificates, we'll take a picture. We want to stand it back here. Right.
Okay. I need to ask for public comment on both 6A and 6B. Is there any public comment on either item? If not, I'll bring it back to the board. Okay.
Let's give them another round of applause
Yeah.
for the football and cross country team Valley champions. Good job, guys. Now go back to school.
Yeah, there's something extraordinary that's been going on for the last, 10, 15 years in this county with Valley championships after Valley championship, different schools, Chowchilla, Madera, and then of course the World Robotics Champions. That's happened 2 years in a row. So it's no coincidence that these things are occurring. This is just plain hard work that happens when you decide you want something and you go after it. And these young men and women are setting goals and accomplishing these goals. It's just something that's going to follow them through life. And you're going to see great things happen in this community as a result of that kind of work. So I just commend them in all that they're doing. It's great. Item 6C.
Board of Supervisors Department, presentation of a proclamation honoring Sergeant Mark Stritzel on his retirement for the Madera County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. If I can, I'd like to say a few words about Sergeant Stritzel. Today, we gather to honor a man who's not only served Madera County with distinction, but has embodied the spirit of dedication, commitment, and service. Sergeant Mark Stritzel is a name that resonates with respect and admiration within our community and beyond. In 1990, a young and enthusiastic Mark Stritzel joined our ranks as an extra help deputy in Eastern Madera County. His journey was marked by a steadfast commitment to growth and excellence. Soon after, he became a provisional deputy in the Valley, beginning a career under the guidance of Sheriff Glenn Seymour that would span over 3 decades. Sergeant Stritzel's career is a tapestry of dedication and varied expertise. In 1991, he became a field training officer, a SWAT team member, and a dive team member, showcasing his versatility and his eagerness to serve in diverse roles. His dedication to MADNET, the multi-agency narcotic enforcement team, for 5 years since 1994, underscored his commitment to safeguarding our community from drugs. In the year 2000, Sergeant Stritzel's journey took a new turn as he became a detective, bringing his sharp intuition and investigative skills to the team. His promotion to sergeant in 2003 was a testament to his leadership qualities and his unwavering commitment to our mission. For 17 years, he has led as a sergeant, guiding and mentoring countless deputies. His last 2 years with the problem-oriented policing team highlighted his innovative approach to community issues, always striving to find solutions that resonate with the needs of our citizens. Sergeant Stritzel's service as a SWAT and dive team member for 29 years and a range master for 10 years speaks volumes about his dedication and expertise. His passion for teaching and helping others is a beacon of inspiration for us all. He's always believed in imparting knowledge from report writing to tactical maneuvers, ensuring that a legacy of excellence continues. Though officially retired, Sergeant Stritzel's heart remains with us as he continues to serve as a reserve deputy. His mission to leave everything better than he found it is a guiding light for us all. Sergeant Stritzel, your journey has been one of unwavering service, unparalleled commitment, and an inspiring example for all of us. As you step into this new chapter of your life, know that your legacy will continue to guide and inspire us at the Madera County Sheriff's Office. So on behalf of the Madera County Sheriff's Office and the community we serve, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your service, our respect for your contributions, and our best wishes on your well-earned retirement. Thank you, Sergeant Stritzel, for your exemplary service. May your next chapter be as rewarding and fulfilling as your illustrious career with us. Thank you, Board, for letting us have this opportunity to recognize Sergeant Stritzel, and I'll turn it over to you for additional comments.
We'd like to also present him a proclamation. You want, oh, yeah. Absolutely. Sergeant, and you want to come forward and be recognized?
All that sounded really good. All I can say is thank you, folks, for allowing me to come here and work for the public in Madera County. It's been a pleasure. It's been my privilege. Jay Barney was one of my bosses in the past as a sheriff. Thanks, Jay, for always having my back. Thanks for your support when you were the chief in Chowchilla. Tyson, he actually worked for me when I was a young sergeant, and now he's the sheriff. So again, it's been my privilege. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's great. Let's go down and get a picture, and we're going to present this proclamation to sergeants. Like to come down this photo with us? Always a privilege to recognize outstanding people like the sergeant. Okay. Oh, yes. Any public comment on this item? Not, we'll bring it back. And item 6C.
6D, Board of Supervisors, Department
6D,
presentation.
I'm sorry.
Presentation of a proclamation honoring Patricia Retton on her retirement from the Madera County Sheriff's Office.
If I speak, I'd like to invite Patricia up. Today, we gather and honor a remarkable individual, administrative analyst Patricia Renton, as she embarks on a well-deserved retirement after 4 decades of dedicated service to Madera County. Patricia is not just a colleague, she's an integral part of the fabric that makes up our community. A native and lifelong resident of Madera, her roots run deep in the soil of this county. Her upbringings in an agricultural family, active involvement in 4-H and FFA reflect a lifelong commitment to service and community engagement. Patricia's journey with the county began in December 1983 at our old county jail downtown. She was not only a witness, but a vital contributor to the evolution of our correctional facilities. As the last of the employees to have worked at the jail on 6th Street, she bridges the past and the present, carrying with her invaluable institutional knowledge and expertise. In her role, Patricia was responsible for the critical task of managing inmate accounting duties, including the financial operations of commissary. Her meticulous approach and dedication ensures the seamless running of these operations. The move to the new jail in 1988 marked a new chapter, bringing new challenges and advancements, including air conditioning and our first jail management computer system. A transition Patricia navigated with her characteristic grace and expertise. Her contributions extended beyond her primary duties. In the early 2000s, she assumed the role of office services supervisor, overseeing purchasing, budget, and other financial operations of the jail. Her ability to adapt and excel in various roles is a testament to her versatility and unwavering commitment to excellence. Patricia's dedication to service extends beyond the walls of our office. Her involvement as a treasurer for Thomas Jefferson Middle School Parent Club and as a founder and treasurer of the Stallion Athletic Boosters at Madera South High School illustrates her deep commitment to our community's youth and education. As we bid farewell to Patricia, we don't just celebrate her professional achievements, but also honor her as a person who has given so much of herself to Madera County. On behalf of Madera County Sheriff's Office and the county you have so faithfully served, I extend our heartfelt thanks and best wishes for a retirement filled with joy, relaxation, and new adventures. Thank you, Patricia, for your exemplary service, dedication, and the mark you have left on our hearts and community.
I want to thank everyone. It's been a great journey. Something I have enjoyed. I love my community. Thank you.
We also have a proclamation that we want to present you with, so we're going to come down and get some. Well, right there, a combined 70 years of institutional knowledge. That's just really amazing. And we're going to miss those two really a lot. Okay, don't be strangers. Come and see us. Any public comment on this item? We'll bring it back to the board and we'll move on to the next item. Yes, we do. Yeah, well, before we get into the longevity awards, we're going to do our public hearings real quick. Hopefully real quick. Item 7A.
Community and Economic Development Department Planning Division, hearing to consider adoption of a resolution approving the application of Creekside RM LLC for a subdivision final map amendment to Tesoro Viejo, Creekside Village 3, track number 311, and approving a related notice of exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to section 15268 of the California Public Resource Code.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development. I have a very brief PowerPoint presentation to go through for this public hearing. This is an amended subdivision map. So this map has actually already been recorded and they have elected to make some changes to the map. So with that, this is subdivision map. It's a final map, 2023-005 out at Tesoro Viejo. Just some brief analysis. Last year, your board adopted the resolution to allow for track 311 to record within Creekside Village 3. And the applicant is proposing to amend some of the dimensions and alignments on this particular map. Pursuant to chapter 17.84 of the county code, this allows for the amended map. So we did go to planning commission, held a hearing. They voted 4-0 in favor of this amendment, and now it's before your board for consideration. So I do have a couple of copies of the map. This is actually the original map. You'll see some, as I go through to the next map, you'll see very little change. That's the new map. You can hardly tell there have been some changes to the alignments and the roads and some of the outlots. Same number of lots resulting on the amended map. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the amended map, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions from the board? Not? Pretty straightforward. Bring it out to the public. We're going to open the public hearing on this item. Any speakers for or against this item? I don't see anyone coming. Do we have anyone online?
No comments online.
Okay, with that, I'm last chance. Anyone coming? I'm going to close the public hearing. Bring it back to the board. What
Mr.
is-
Chair, I'll move to approve.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilma?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Item 7B.
7B, Community and Economic Development Department Planning Division, hearing to consider adoption of a resolution approving the application of Creekside RM LLC for a subdivision final map, amendment of Tesoro Viejo Creekside Village 4, track number 313, and approving a related notice of exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to section 15268 of the California Public Resource Code.
Thank you, Jamie Bax again, Community and Economic Development. This is actually right next door to the west of the previous map. This is track map number 313, Creekside Village 4. Same as last year, this map was recorded with your approval of a resolution for Creekside Village 4, making some minor changes to the lots and the outlots pursuant to the government code. The Planning Commission did hold a hearing, on this particular item and voted 4-0 in favor of this map. As you can see, this is the original recorded map, and you'll see very minor changes as we proceed with the amended map. You'll see a small change in the outlot in the southeast corner of the property. And with that, staff recommends approval of this map, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions from the board? I'll open the public hearing at this time. Any speakers in favor or against? No one coming forward? Anyone online?
No comments online.
If not, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. What is your pleasure?
Move this item for approval.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor Warmha?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
7C.
7C, Community and Economic Development Department, Planning Division, Agricultural Preserve, Farmland Security Zone Program. 1, hearing to consider the proposed ordinance for the rezoning of the lands currently proposed for the inclusion of the Agricultural Preserve Farmlands Security Zone Program for 2024, contracts with Madera County under the provisions of the Williams Act to ARE-40 Agricultural Rural Exclusive 40 acres district from RRS-10 Residential Rural Single Family 10 acres, ARF Agricultural Rural Footlands District, and ARE-20 Agricultural Rural Exclusive 20 acres. Number 2, hearing to consider an adoption of a resolution establishing 2024 agricultural preserves 1749, 1750, 1751, 1752, 1753, 1754, and farmland security zones 299 and 300. Number 3, discussion and consideration of entering into an agricultural preserve and farmland security zones contract for the year 2024 and authorize the chairman to sign. Number 4, discussion and direction to prepare a notice of exemption per California Environmental Quality Act guideline sections 15061.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Jamie Bax, Community and Economic Development. Before you is the 2024 Williamson Act program. So new applications came into our office in June of this year. This item is exempt from CEQA. I'm just going to go through each individual parcel and what the existing use of for those particular contracts. So the first on the list is 1749, which is grazing. This property does require the rezone and is included on the ordinance for the proposed rezone to ARE-40. 1750, this is a pistachio property and also requires the rezone to ARE-40. 1751 is grazing land, does not require a rezone. 1752 is also grazing, does not require a rezone. All the properties surrounding this area are already either under contract or zoned ARE-40 as well. 1753 is also grazing land and does require a rezone and is included on the ordinance. 1754 is pistachios and do require the rezone as well. The next couple are the farmland security zones 299, which are almonds, does not require a rezone. And the final one is farmland security zone 300, which are pistachios and does require a rezone. So the rezone basically prohibits the properties from being divided further down below 40 acres. So we did hold a hearing before the Planning Commission for the rezones. They did vote in favor 4-0, recommending to your board approval of this particular application, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, any questions from the board? If not, we're going to go out to the public. The public hearing is open on this item. Anyone here to speak for or against? No, anyone online?
No comments online.
I'm going to bring it back to the board. We're going to close the public hearing. Pleasure.
Move this item for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Warmha?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
That's the extent of our public hearings. We're going to go now to item 6E. Thank you.
6C, Human Resources Department, presentation of service credit awards to employees who have obtained 25 years or more service with the county.
That's Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Before Roman and the staff get ready for the presentation, for those folks that are present, unfortunately, the clerk recorder, Rebecca Martinez, could not be with us today to receive her 50-year. I have spoken with her, and she would appreciate the opportunity to have that awarded to her in January, and we'll make arrangements for an appropriate meeting.
That'd be fine. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. 50 years, that's amazing. That is amazing in any circle. Okay. Let's go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Roman Noriega, Human Resources. Today, it is my privilege to recognize those employees who have attained 25 or more years of service with our county. We ask those employees who are present to come up so we can present them with a certificate. We also have plaques, but they won't be in until this afternoon, so we'll get those delivered to the department later this afternoon or tomorrow. After I announce our honorees, department heads and supervisors may share a few words about their employees. We ask that our service award recipients stay in the chambers for a group picture. So first, I'll start with our 25 years of service. David Torres, Behavioral Health Services, Central Services Worker. Joe Hernandez, General Services, Grounds Flood Control Maintenance Supervisor. Feliciano Manzano, Probation, Senior Deputy Probation Officer. Jose Pantoja, Juvenile Hall Deputy Chief Probation Officer.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. I'm Rick Galindo with Madera County Probation Deputy Chief, and I'd also like to acknowledge one of our former employees who just recently retired November of this year with also 25 years of service to Madera County, and that is Debbie Anglin. I'm just going to take a quick, brief moment to make a comment on Debbie. All right. I'd like to acknowledge Debbie Anglin for her years of service to Madera County. Debbie gave 25 years to Madera County with 22 years as a deputy probation officer. She came to Madera County Probation as a program assistant with the ultimate goal to complete her education and promote to deputy probation officer. After completing this goal, she navigated herself through our department in adult supervision, adult investigations, and eventually ending her career in juvenile services. Debbie is the epitome of a true investigations report writer, making herself a guru for court investigations. Debbie's heart of gold and dedication to the population we serve was evident in the variety of functions and charitable events she led. Debbie retired in November of this year, and her shoes will not be easily filled. We already miss Debbie, but we congratulate her on her 25 years dedicated to Madera County, wish her a very healthy and fulfilling retirement.
You'd like to say? Go ahead.
I don't really know what to say. I love doing my job, but I got to the point where I had to retire. So thank you.
Well, thank you for your dedication and service all those years. Thank you very much. Let's give you a round of applause.
Morning, Chairman, members of the board.
Let's have her stay up for the photo with the others. I think that's, oh. Yeah, I think
Sure.
that's, yeah, when we get the group photo.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Morning,
ahead.
Stephanie Stokely, Assistant Chief Probation. I apologize on behalf of Chief Childers. Had a family emergency come up this morning. I'm stepping in on his behalf, so Jose gets to have the second best here.
I waited 25 years.
So I wish I would have had something prepared for Jose, but I go off the cuff. You know, the fact that we have all these people here from our department for Jose, you know, speaks a lot to the character of who he is and what he's embodied in our department. 25 years, you know, a quarter of a century, that's a long time to devote to the county, to the constituents, the people in this community. And it's not an easy job doing what we do.
No.
Now I'm going to talk about probation a little bit. Most of you have been to our department and functions and been involved at some level, and we appreciate that support. It's not easy always supervising people that don't necessarily want to be supervised. Not talking about our staff, but that too. You know, it's I always tell people with this position, it's a little bit of everything, you know? Some days you're sort of a law enforcement officer, some days you're a social worker, some days you're a teacher, you're a counselor, you're a mentor, and you have to be all those things all rolled in one. And also, you know, keep in mind safety and security at all times.
Right.
One of the most important things I believe is being professional, always the consummate professional in what we do, because we're representing our profession, we're representing this county. And I really believe that Jose epitomizes that. He's just the perfect individual for that. From his perfect dress, always, he's always the best dressed person in the room.
Best to the nines.
Hands down. We've got a few competitors now coming up, but he's always been. Yeah, he doesn't want it. But truly, you know, he's done just about everything in this department, you know, 25 years. You know, I got to see Jose grow up. I like to think I've mentored him a little. We joke about that a lot. You know, he started off in our old rickety building at 6th and I Street. For any of those that remember that building, just encountering that on a daily basis was a hazard in itself, you know. It's looking good over there now, some apartments going in. So he started out as a adult supervision officer, and he sort of made his way around the different divisions in the department, worked in our juvenile division, came back to the juvenile division as a senior. He also worked in our court investigations division. For those of you who don't, know what that is, that's where we're responsible for conducting pre-sentence investigations on all those going before the court under criminal complaints, and then we prepare a report for sentencing. And that's a real important division because we work for the courts on that. And you have to be sort of an expert in case law, keeping up with, any of the changes that happen on an annual basis. And, Jose did a great job, did about 5 years in that unit. He also was a placement officer where you supervise those that are in group homes. Currently, he's been almost 4 years now at our juvenile detention facility. That's probably how a lot of you have encountered Jose. That is probably one of the most difficult assignments. Even though we don't have a large amount of youth in the facility, that's a good thing, we still are responsible for so many different things, it's not just keeping kids detained and,
Right.
not thinking about what they're doing. You have educators in there, you have counselors, you have programs, constant programs. And Jose has done a great job. I know he would attribute that to his staff, but it takes a certain type of individual to drive these great programs forward, and I think he's done an outstanding job. I think one of the highlights I can think of offhand is the music program. I know a few of you have been over there to witness that, and that's a pretty great thing. Right now he's currently overseeing construction going on. We've had that going on for how long now? Over a year. It's tough to have all these different people going in and out of a facility. So he's done an outstanding job in doing that, and we just really like to thank Jose for 25 years of just dedication, being professional all the time, having that, even keel personality, and just keeping up with all the changes and doing it with a smile and doing it with style. And, we just really appreciate everything. And I like to congratulate you today. I know he'd like to say a few words as well.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank the board for this acknowledgement. 25 years, you brought back a lot of memories from 6th and I Street. Lots of things have changed since then. I think back of what our department had and what we have now. We were the department that was known to get all the leftovers from other departments. I don't even think we had a brand new car back then. We would get the leftovers from the sheriff's department. But we've come a long way. And it's appreciative of the board that understands that acknowledgement and that recognizes the importance of community and seeing you guys out there. I know some of you guys come to the facility also and help our kids. Some of our kids don't have parents that come in or family members, and you guys come in and you guys are the highlight. So I want to thank a couple people. Again, you guys, my chief that can't be here, Assistant Chief Stephanie Stokel, who has, as she said, always been a mentor to me. the staff that's here, my colleagues, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as the assistant chief stated, I've been at the facility for 4 years. So it's important to almost 4 years, it'll be 4 years in April, to acknowledge the staff that work there. You know, like the sheriff's department, we are the only 24/7 functioning facility that operates fully in the county, and it's always with public safety in mind. So our staff work hard at the facility in and out, you know, weekends, holidays. And it's, you know, we signed up, we know what we signed up for. We do a great job and we do it well. So I truly believe I work for the best county in the state of California and the best probation department. So thank you guys.
Thank you for that. My son Austin has worked over there with you at the facility, and he appreciates all you guys do. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I think that you want to do it as a group. We can do that. Let's do that. Let's take the time to do it. Outstanding. Okay, thank you. Don't forget to stick around for the group photo afterwards. Okay.
All right, continuing with our 25 years of service, Graciela Lucio, Public Health, Health Education Assistant.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Stephanie Nathan, Assistant Director, Public Health Department. And I'm excited to acknowledge Graciela, who's worked for the Public Health Department for 25 years as a home visitor in our maternal child adolescent health program. I'm actually going to turn it over to Gabby Fernandez, who is her direct supervisor, who's going to share a few highlights.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Gabriela Fernandez. I am the California Home Visiting Program Supervisor. I would like to take this time to acknowledge Graciela Lucio for her 25 years in service in the Department of Public Health under the Maternal Child Adolescent Health Program. Graciela has worked in the different home visiting programs in our department, like Adolescent Family Life, Child Learn program, and she's currently in the Healthy Families America. Graciela provides education and tools that encourage and support positive parent-child interaction. She works with families to set goals for their future, promotes the use of praise and other positive parenting techniques, and conducts screenings to assess child development, maternal depression, and intimate partner violence. Graciela is passionate about her work, about the work she does, and her hard work and dedication does not go unseen. Graciela is a strong advocate for her family she works with. I really enjoy reaching out to the families she works with. They always have kind words to say about Graciela. They enjoy her commitment, her knowledge, and her kind personality. It has been a pleasure working with Graciela, and I admire her dedication and loyalty. Thank you for going above and beyond to deliver outstanding work. Our team is lucky to have you. Without further ado, Graciela Lucio.
I just want to say thank you, Board of Supervisors, and thank you, Gabby, for your kind words.
Next employee with 25 years of service, Jason Clark, Sheriff, Commander.
On behalf of the Madera County Sheriff's Office, it's my distinct honor to accept this award on behalf of Commander Jason Clark for his unwavering dedication and exceptional service over the past 25 years. Commander Clark's actually out of town doing the final inspection on a mobile command post. So even on this special day, recognizing such a significant achievement, he's busy serving the county. He embodies service above self. So I'd like to say a few things on his behalf. In October 1998, Commander Clark embarked on a journey with the Madera County Department of Corrections, a journey marked by commitment, perseverance, and an unyielding dedication to public safety. His transition to a full-time deputy with our sheriff's office in March 2022 was a testament to his passion and capability in law enforcement. Throughout his illustrious career, Commander Clark has not only served but excelled in various roles. As a corrections training officer, he laid the foundation for excellence in our correctional facility. His time in Valley Patrol and as a detective showcased his investigative expertise and dedication to the community safety. In roles of hostage negotiator, OHV member, and POP sergeant, Commander Clark demonstrated versatility and a deep understanding of the multifaceted nature of law enforcement. His leadership skills alone shone brightly as a part of the Marshals Fugitive Apprehension Team and the Madera County Regional SWAT Team. As a team leader and team commander, he has been instrumental in numerous critical operations, safeguarding our community with courage and precision. Beyond his operational roles, Commander Clark's commitment to continuous learning and professional development is exemplary. Holding an associate's degree in business administration and a bachelor's degree in emergency service management, he continues to push the boundaries of expertise, graduating from the prestigious FBI National Academy in 2022. His pursuit of a master's degree in public safety at the University of Virginia is a testament to his lifelong commitment of learning and leadership. As we celebrate his remarkable milestone, we not only honor Commander Clark's past achievements, but also look forward to his continued contributions to our department and the community. Thank you, Commander Clark, for your service, for your leadership, and unwavering dedication to Madera County. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. Thank you, Board.
Okay, rounding off the employees with 25 years of service in social services, Carmen Noval Martinez, Social Services Program Manager 1. Cesar Mejia, Social Services Employment and Training Worker 3. Cynthia Nelson, Social Services Office Assistant 2. Maria Villafan, Social Services, Central Services Assistant, and Marty Brown, Social Services Eligibility Supervisor.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Supervisors, Deborah Martinez, Director of Social Services, Puppet Guardian. I'm actually going to turn it over to my new deputy directors to introduce these awesome people that were for you. Carmen, unfortunately, is not available to be here, nor is Caesar, but we do really appreciate their endeavors as well with our department. Please begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Nikki Matus, Deputy Director, Child Welfare. I'm going to speak for Maria Villafan's journey. It began with the Department of Social Services on August 24th, 1998, making a remarkable 25-year commitment to service and excellence. In her role as a Central Services Assistant, Maria has not only been a cornerstone of the team, but also a mentor and guide to new staff entering her unit. Her dedication goes beyond individual success, extending to the growth and development of her colleagues. Maria's impact on the department is immeasurable, and her commitment sets a standard for excellence. As we celebrate her 25 years of unwavering service, we express our deepest gratitude for her invaluable contributions to the organization.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board.
Want to thank you and thank God for all these years being here. Thank you very much.
You.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors and everybody else who's here with us today. I have the pleasure to acknowledge Cynthia Nelson. And as you know, last week, I did present that I am a new deputy director for the Department of Social Services. So I haven't had the opportunity to really get to know my staff yet. But what I do know of working with social services for 25 years, it takes a lot of dedication and commitment to come to work and help the people of our community. So I'm always thankful and appreciative of all those who help our community in any line of work. So, Cynthia. Cynthia is known for her for being an exemplary member of the Department of Social Services for 25 years. She started as a data entry operator in 1998 and transitioned into the office assistant 2 classification in 2019. Beyond her official role, Cynthia has fostered a harmonious workplace emphasizing respect and teamwork. Her adaptability, resilience, and commitment to excellence will leave a lasting impact on our department. Cynthia's 25 years of service stands as a testament to her dedication and proficiency, making her a valued and inspirational member of the team. The department sends her best wishes on her retirement, effective 12/29 of this year. Thank you, Cynthia, for the time that you've dedicated in the line of work that you did for us.
To the board, that was a hard 25, but it allowed me to take care of my family and do the work that I did. What I am going to miss is making sure my old folks and my babies have their Medi-Cal when they need to be seen. But I gotta go. And she's lucky she don't get to meet the 10 personalities that everybody else has to deal with. Thank you.
So I'm actually not lucky because I would have liked to know all those different faces because I know that everything, Cynthia, even though I didn't get to know you, I know that you brought a lot because there was a lot of good things that were shared about Cynthia. So thank you again. Now I have the pleasure of acknowledging Marty Brown. Marty has been a dedicated and valued member of the Department of Social Services for the past 25 years. His journey began on October 1st, 1998, when he joined as an office assistant 2. Recognized for his hard work and commitment, Marty achieved a significant milestone on the 1st of July of 2014 by earning a promotion to eligibility worker. Continuing to excel in his role, Marty's career progression continued with subsequent promotions. On July 1st, 2015, he promoted to eligibility worker 2. On March 1st, 2018, he promoted to a 3. And on the 1st of September of 2022, Marty assumed the role of eligibility supervisor. Throughout his tenure, Marty has consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic and a deep understanding of the department's mission. His journey serves as an inspiring example of professional growth within the organization, showcasing not only his individual achievements, but also his contribution to the well-being and support of the community through his role in social services. Thank you, Marty, for all that you've done and you will continue to do.
First, thank you to the board. Letty, we worked together at DSS a while back. I didn't think I'd make 25 days, and here I am 25 years later. I just want to talk to the other 2 ladies I got acknowledged today for some of the things they've done for me in my life. Like when you work with somebody for 25 years and they mentor you the way they do, and you find out one's going to be leaving, Cynthia will be very missed. For Nina, I will be meeting with her to help her also retire. So I'm glad for them. I have 7 years and 10 months left, but I'm not counting. But thank you for everything, Madera County. Okay, moving to 30 years of service. 30 years of service. Kenneth Crow, Public Works, Road Construction and Maintenance Supervisor.
Good morning, members of the board, Chairman, Jared with Public Works. I'm pitch hitting here for Phil Toller. He's the Deputy Director for Maintenance Operations, but he's out today. So just wanted to get up here and share a little bit about Ken. So Ken started with the county in 1993 and really embodies the idea of starting at the bottom and working your way to the top. He started as a road worker one, worked his way up to equipment operator, a senior road construction worker, and now is one of our road construction and maintenance supervisors in District 1. I can't say enough about Ken and his history here. He was appointed to the road supervisor in 2022, which was just before we had one of the most record storm events in our county in early 2023. And I can honestly say that his institutional knowledge and dedication to this county was instrumental in helping with respond to that in all those storm incidents and all the things that happened with that. Ken's been, around a long time, as you know, and always willing to pitch in and help and give people guidance and help those that are coming through the ranks to learn new things. I know that he's been very helpful in some of the capital projects that we worked on and giving input and information for that. So just want to thank Ken for his years of service with the county. And I don't know how much longer you got, but we'll have you as long as you need to stay, man.
Okay, how you doing, guys? For those of you who haven't met, it's nice to meet you today, okay? Been kind of looking forward to this, to talk to you guys. It's been a long 30 years for me here. And I want to say that not in a negative way. You know how things work themselves out. We're all people. We go through circumstances all the time. We all learn from mistakes. We all make those and we all learn from those and move forward. I'm very grateful for this job. I graduated high school early, and I attended college to be a teacher. And then God moved me into the military. And from there, I moved into a unit, a specialized combat unit, where I served in South America a lot. I learned a lot of things about myself and how to lead people. It's all been instrumental in my job coming here. I left the military and then went into corrections at the jail for a brief time. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I'm a guy that likes being on the ground with people that way. But so many things have happened over the 30 years that I've learned about people and how to deal with people, circumstances of the public, ways to help them and ways to teach them that sometimes we don't have all the answers. We can't do everything we want to do sometimes just because of budget restraints. I've learned that the men under me, they've had good intentions, and sometimes we just don't know, because leadership is everything to me. I'll be straight with you guys. Leadership is the key to gaining ground on problems that people think we can't conquer. It's leadership. It's true leadership. I want to read you something real quick that's it's instilled in me ever since I was in the military. I want to read you something real quick. I won't take a lot of your time. I've been waiting to talk to you guys.
Okay.
So character in many ways is everything in leadership. It is made up of many things, but I would say that character is really integrity. Sorry, guys. When you delegate something to a subordinate, for example, it is absolutely your responsibility that he must understand this. You as a leader must take complete responsibility for that subordinate, whatever he does. I once said as a sort of wisecrack that leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving your subordinates credit for everything that goes well. That's quoted by Dwight D. Eisenhower, rank commander of the Allied forces during the European fight during World War II. It stuck with me ever since I was in the military, guys. And the reason I'm getting kind of fogged up about this is because I fought with a lot of guys in the military that were great guys, and we did a lot of things. And the men that I've been with in my encounter with the county, I've had really good men under me. I'm proud of them for what they've accomplished. I'm in charge of a crew now. I started out at the bottom and I didn't know anything about road construction, not a thing, nothing. I was just a guy. I was trying to learn and I moved on. And over the years, I've always excelled to learn anything I could possibly learn, not just for myself, but to teach everybody under me. I wanted everybody under me to know more than I knew because I think it'd be an effective unit. And it has become that way on the crew I'm on. I'm very thankful to God for where he's brought me. He's brought me to a place where I can actually have people where I can make a difference for the public, a difference for people that sometimes we don't think about the smaller people out in the field. A lot of times we deal with big farmers and we deal with big construction companies, but we don't deal with so much on your aspect with the smaller people, the people that no one comes in contact. That's the people I pay attention to. Because I think those people can make a difference in their lives if I somehow show them that they're worthy. Even though they're not wealthy or they don't have big farms or ranches, those people out there in the roads out there that I work in and the things I do for them, I come in encounters with so many people that just want somebody to listen. That's all. Sometimes they're not wanting us to respond in such of a way, but just to respond to them by listening and seeing what their concerns are. So today, the main thing I wanted to say to all of you, because you're in leadership, you are. I know you know that, but the type of leadership you have, you can make big differences in people's lives out there. So I pray that you be those people that are the shield for those people that can't protect themselves. You be that spearhead for those people that feel like they don't have any defense. I pray that over all of you today. You be those men. You be those men that give uncaringly of your own. You give of yourself. There's a scripture in the Bible, John 15:13, where it says, give love to all those around you without precedence of yourself. You're giving to others. No greater love is there to give up your life for others, to lay it down for others. Since I was a little boy, I've always dedicated my life to helping others. And it's an honor to be here today to speak to you, to speak not only for myself, but to speak for all those people out there on the road that I deal with, all those public people that have fatalities and I pull up on those roads in the middle of the night and they don't have any hope. See, because if I wouldn't have came to this place and this job, I couldn't be that difference for them. And that's partly because of you and all the people that brought me to this place. The man that hired me, Mike Zamora, he was an ex-Army man. He saw something in me that inspired him to hire me. And I never understood it back then, but now I see it now. It's because God had a plan for me the whole time. But today I wanted to thank you for having me here and listen to me and caring for, that I made a difference. And I hope I somehow impact you today. That someone that comes here and speaks in front of you, somebody that seems like they're disgruntled or angry about something, that maybe your hearts will be softened. Say, hey, I'm gonna think about it just for a moment. That they're people just like me. That's what I pray over you today, Father. Amen.
Thank you for sharing with us this morning. Appreciate that very much. Good words.
Mr. Crowe, thank you for your service to our country as well as our county. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely.
Next employee with 30 years of service, Steve Duckworth, Social Services Deputy Director.
Okay, good morning again. This is Deborah Martinez. I am honored to here to say a few words about Stephen Duckworth. Stephen Duckworth started his extraordinary career with us in 1993, November of 1993. He started off as an eligibility worker, got quickly promoted within 2 years, to, up through overspending about over a decade as a social worker, then as an administrative analyst for several years, and then as a program manager for another basically a decade. In 2020, I made the wise decision of promoting him to deputy director. He's a very, very dependable person. He speaks Spanish and has an empathy for people that you need to have when you're going to be working in social services. I appreciate the fact that he's always up for the charge. Whatever interesting things we get into, He's always up for it. I appreciate the fact that he takes leadership in our emergency operations planning. He really helps me out by taking lead in that. He's the person I depend on to do the new employee orientations for describing DSS, which I really appreciate as well. He's dependable. He always has known, and if you look at his evaluations, have always been somebody who goes above and beyond in terms of quantity and quality of his work and his adaptability. And that is really, it's pretty extraordinary from him. I know a lot of folks have known him and know him for what he is, a very calm person, somebody you can depend on to be there, and somebody I rely on, and I really appreciate having him with our amazing team. Steve?
Good morning, board. It's been a pleasure to serve the public for these last 30 years. And these occasions always make you reflect back on who you've worked with, where you worked, what you did. And I think of all the great people I've worked with, and all the people in the public that we were able to help and serve, make Madera County a better place to be. I was fortunate, and we talked about leadership, the last speaker. I was fortunate to be in the audience in March. I stayed for a whole board meeting, which is not my typical practice because I usually just come down for the consent items and I have to hurry up and get back to work. But I had to be down here the whole day, the whole morning for the board meeting. And Chairman Rogers, some of the words that you said really resonated with me about leadership. You talked about climbing, and you talked about what it would be like if we all in leadership lifted each other up. You know, part of our mission at the Department of Social Services is to encourage staff. And so sometimes when you ask our staff, you know, what's our mission? They'll talk about protecting the vulnerable, serving the poor, helping people find employment, bettering their lives and things like that. But that bullet about encouraging staff is so very important. And your words really resonated with me, and it stuck with me all this time. And it was just a great message to hear about leadership. And living in the county, living in the city, I used to cross paths with the supervisor on his jogging runs, and apparently we jog on different paths now. He's on his path and I'm on mine. We used to swim. I used to see him at the swimming hole at the gym. You know, I'd see him swimming. He'd always outswim me. He'd always outrun me. You know, but living in this city, and what I really appreciate about this board and previous boards as well is the camaraderie in the fact that you guys get along so well. We don't have the divisive politics that oftentimes you see in other counties.
Right.
We really appreciate that leadership from this board.
Thank you for saying.
So it's been a pleasure to serve 30 years and serve in Madera County.
Thank you so much for your words.
Okay, we're moving to 40 years of service. 40 years. Tammy Dotson, Ag Commission, Program Assistant 2.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Rusty Landsberger, Ag Commissioner Sealer. Tammy Dotson, as stated, 40 years with the Ag Commissioner's Office. What a tremendous job she does. Dedicated, loyal. I don't have enough to say about her. Tammy has the most institutional knowledge of anyone in our department when it comes to who farmed what and family legacy and who used to farm it and who farms it now and what crops have been on that property.
Wow.
It's truly amazing. When growers and producers come into our office, they ask for Tammy. If she's not there, there's like, where's Tammy? Did she retire? We're like, no, she just had a day off. She'll be back. And they're like, okay, everything is good. So one thing I want to say, when I first started, and I've been with the county for 3 years now, Tammy told me that she was a resident of Madera County since she was 2 years old. And I think she made that a point because she's dedicated. She loves this community and she wanted to make sure that I felt the same way. And so I appreciate that. And another point, every Tuesday, except for today, she has a 1966 Volkswagen that was her first car that she drives to work. So I know on Tuesday when there's a blue Volkswagen parked in the parking lot, Tammy's here. So I would like to read something that was written by a past ag commissioner 20 years ago when Tammy had her 20-year service award. Tammy is a strong advocate of California agriculture, and she never hesitates to inquire about the most recent controversies affecting farming. Although not required for her position, she also takes continuing education courses to maintain a pest control operator license that she acquired in 1989. Tammy knows her customers by name, and staying current helps her to understand the problems that they face. She cares about the people that she works for, and it shows in the quality of her service. So I'd like to say once again, Tammy is dedicated, dependable, loyal, and all her work is appreciated. I would like to thank Tammy for her 40 years of service.
Well, I've been blessed to work with many wonderful people and incredible commissioners. I'm grateful I've been able to do something I love for a lifetime. Thank you.
That's Thank you for your service. 40 years, that's a long.
We have another employee with 40 years of service. Our last employee to recognize this morning, Patricia Ritten, Sheriff, Administrative Analyst 1.
Already left the building, but as we know, she's after 40 years, she's left behind a legacy of excellence and community spirit. So her community service has left Madera County a safer place to live and work. So we appreciate her, and thank you, board.
Okay, in closing, we'd like to thank our honorees again for their hard work and continued dedication to the county. After the group photo, please join us in congratulating them and celebrating them with a small reception of coffee and treats in the back.
We will adjourn for 10 minutes to do that. Welcome everyone up for the picture right now. I'm going to take item 6M at this time, a little out of progression. They've been waiting patiently, and we'll take item 6M.
Board of Directors, Groundwater Sustainability Agencies, Water and Natural Resources Department. Discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with the Chowchilla Subbasin growers to establish a domestic well mitigation program for a portion of Chowchilla Subbasin in the Madera County Groundwater Sustainability Agency, and to develop a working relationship between Madera County GSA and CSG, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Stephanie Anagnuson, your Director of Water and Natural Resources. We have today a historic item in front of us. A Chowchilla Subbasin Growers Group aims to develop themselves through a LAFCO process into a water district and a GSA. Through our support, they are also going to fund part of the cost of domestic well mitigation within the Chowchilla Subbasin, part of the county GSA's share. The agreement itself includes multiple ways of working together, including a collaboration meeting at least twice a year in which we review multiple projects, including recharge, land repurposing, domestic well mitigation, as well as talk about progress with a LAFCO application. There is one minor change that is in the agreement portion, item 1, and it's the last sentence in item 1, where it says any fees or penalties collected by the GSA from non-CSG members within Exhibit B area will be allocated to well mitigation. So only penalties are intended there, not fees. And of course, the only fee that's collected is a Prop 26 exempt fee, which cannot pay for programs. So what we suggest is deleting fees or just 2 words there. And I have discussed this already with the group and they're amenable to it. It doesn't change the meaning of the sentence, which is to say that penalties that are collected are funding the domestic well mitigation. That said, we know we had a lot of rain this year. We don't anticipate a ton of penalties, but the language is there as well.
Right.
I would be glad to answer any questions on this agreement.
Okay, any questions? Questions? If not, I'm going to take it out to the public. Any comment on this item?
Ready to roll? Good morning, board.
Morning, Jim.
How are we all doing?
Good, good.
Fantastic. So I'd like to address the board. First of all, I'd like to put in context my comments and my involvement in this process. I am not on the board of CSG. I was asked by the board to help them with this process because it seemed to be like it was stalling out, wasn't going anywhere. I first would like to thank Chairman Rogers and Supervisor Gonzalez for meeting with the board. We had some really good conversation, some spirited conversation, which was needed. And I think the board got some general high-level direction, and which brought us to today. It's taken 10 months to get to this point, which seems a little long, but it's been a long road. I want to thank Stephanie for working with me on this project for, I don't know, a couple, 2 or 3 months to get it to this point. I want to talk about the MOU, the language in the MOU. It's not a perfect agreement. I don't think it's a perfect agreement for the county. I don't think it's a perfect agreement for the CSG. I recommended that the CSG sign it and enter into it with the county. The agreement is diluted significantly from its inception. Again, not a perfect agreement. There's really not a lot of reason to go into the individual words in the agreement, and there's reason, and I'll explain why. It's a non-binding agreement, okay? Which means that either party can, within 30 days notice, walk away from the agreement. The words to me in the agreement
are not that important at this point. We've taken so much time to talk about this and go through it, but what is important is two things. It's very important to understand the intent and the spirit of the agreement. And the reality of it, that's what needs to be followed. Again, it's a non-binding. We can walk away, you can walk away. But the spirit and the intent of the agreement is to have the county staff, CSG, join hands, work together, and resolve SIGMA issues in the areas involved. It's that simple. We can write a 10-page document, a 50-page document. You could have attorneys go back and forth for 10 years. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So, in summary, I'm not on the board of CSG, but I challenge board of CSG and I challenge county staff to work together, resolve any issues that they have on the table now, to come together to solve the SIGMA issues as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I also challenge this board to oversee the process and make sure that the process continues and the communication continues. And it's all about communication. So if the board signs this, the board is agreeing as an oversight to make sure that the two groups stay together and not let this fail. Because if it fails, all you're going to have is finger pointing. That gets us nowhere. So in conclusion, hope you sign it. I endorse you sign and the changes that Stephanie brought up a few minutes ago. We went over it and we recommend agreeable with that. It's minor little things, so not an issue. So with that, I encourage the board to adopt this and wish everybody involved best of luck.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for those words. Any other comment on this item? I'm just going to bring it back to the board. Now, I wanted to say that absolutely agree with what Jim said. This is about getting solutions to our problem and SIGMA. And one of the concepts that is coming out of this is the idea, the great concept of self-governance, which is a concept that's not foreign to any American citizen. And it is certainly born out of a love for freedom and a love to entrepreneurship and the desire to do well in what we do individually, and especially for farming. Farmers are very independent. They are innovative. They are people that can come up with concepts that you might not even think were available. And so I wholeheartedly endorse self-governance and the opportunity for them to form a GSA and move forward with solving this issue on a county level. That would be great. Thank you. So any other comments before we act on this? Okay, hear a motion?
I'll move for approval.
I'll
Motion is made.
second with the amendment. Rob?
Second with amendment. Okay, great. Let's vote.
Supervisor Poitras,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
we will work to that end. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
6A. Or 6F, I'm sorry. Starting over.
We'll do it better this time.
6F.
Community and Economic Development Planning Division, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution freezing the road impact fee program at the 2023 rate for parcels not created by the final subdivision map.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt Treber, Chief of Development Services. So this item, as the clerk laid out, is a resolution for consideration that would freeze the current road impact fee at its current rate for those parcels that were developed by a parcel map in accordance with the Subdivision Map Act. Similar item was done in the past. And so this does not impact or result in any difference from what the fee is scheduled to go up to on January 1st for our master plan communities that we see out on the 41 corridor. That's the majority of our fee collections are coming from those 3 projects that are under construction, and the 4th being Gunner as well. So available for any questions that the board has. There was a couple minor tweaks. I apologize that I need to also inform the board and the public from what was published there. So, and really it just centers along focusing on the fact that it's clear that this is only discussing for single family dwellings, not commercial or the like. And that it runs for until January 1st of 2025. We can still bring back a subsequent item if the need and the request of the board at that point. So with that, available for any questions the board has.
Any questions?
Yeah, Chairman, I do.
Go ahead.
Do we have an idea as far as how many single-family residences will be impacted by this?
Sure, we can look at the historical trends and in the backup on the board. It did identify that this previous calendar year, we've issued 79 of those permits would be subject to this waiver. So if you carry that forward, we have frankly seen a little bit of a downtick in building, not significant, nowhere near what we saw in the 07, 8, 9 timeframe, but it has slowed the absorption. And so it's anticipated that you're in the 60 to 70, 60 to 80 single family dwelling permits that would be subject to this freezing before the board.
And that's just for this next year.
Correct.
Okay. Any more questions? Not going to take it out to the public. Any public comment on this item? If not, bring it back to the board. Yes, council?
Chair, just to follow up on Chief Treber's comment, the revised resolution is available for the public, will be added to the agenda, and I think has been distributed to the board.
Yes.
Thank you.
Chair, I just wanted to make a quick comment and thank Matt for bringing this item forward. We've talked about it for a little while, and I'm glad we can get it on the board's agenda for review. But in my eyes, it seems the success of this and encouraging more people to build, there's going to be some education that's going to need to go along with it. I don't know if there's any outreach that we can do to the builders in Madera County, but we've also had some discussions about maybe starting a builders association in Madera County, perhaps housing that under, another entity. So it's not necessarily a county, function, but I'd be excited to work with you in your shop on, educating the public about not only this, but, some other steps the board has taken to reduce the cost of building and putting new homes in Madera County. So.
All right, thank you.
And with that, I'd move to approve.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6G.
6G, County Administration Department, General Services Division, discussion and consideration of approval of a new fleet service rate for all county departments. These new rates are not being opposed or collected from the public.
Oh, good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Amber Mojica with General Services, here to discuss fleet rate update. So just a bit of background and refresher. On January 24th, 2023, your board approved an increase rates retroactive to January 1st, 2023 to account for inflationary increases to fuel, vehicles, and other fleet supplies. At the recommendation of staff and per the board's direction, fleet service rates would continuously be reviewed and if needed, adjusted every 6 months. So we're returning to your board with new rates that reflect decreases from the current rates based on current and projected fleet costs. So just an overview of fleet. So the county fleet division is an internal service fund responsible for the management of the county's fleet. Fleet pays for all costs of acquisition, maintenance, fueling, and operation of county vehicles. Individual departments are charged monthly mileage rates to cover costs of purchasing and maintaining the fleet. Factors and variables used when calculating mileage rates is the purchase price of vehicles, fuel costs, tire costs, accidents per year, service staff costs, fleet overhead, equipment costs, and miles driven. So the higher miles driven by the departments, that also helps to reduce the service rate. So we have seen a decrease in fuel costs. So prior analysis, when we came to your board, showed that there was a 60% increase from fiscal year 17-18 to fiscal year 22-23. From fiscal year 22-23 to fiscal year 23-24, there has been a 6% decrease, and it seems to be trending downward. Also, total miles has increased. So our general county departments, their mileage has increased by 19%, and then the sheriff's department has increased by 5%. So these updated fleet rates reflect recovery through a decrease in gas prices, an increase in miles driven, and conservative spending on our fleet services part. So you can see cars goes from 143 a mile to 109 a mile. So our recommendation is the approval of the new fleet mileage rate and making the rates retroactive to October 1st, 2023. And we are continuously monitoring the prices just to give updates and make sure that we're trending in the right direction.
Great. Any questions? Any comment from the public on this item? Bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve this item?
I'll second.
Let's vote. That's all right.
Having some technical issues. I apologize. Who motioned?
I did.
Supervisor Wamhaugh.
Seconded.
Rob.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6H.
6A, County Administration Department, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution approving a special discretionary funds policy.
Morning, Chairman and Board, Jay Varney, County CAO. We also have Virginia Garza, County Counsel, and Joe Begay, Assistant CAO here in case you have any questions. This item was actually budgeted for by the board in your 2023-2024 budget, and it has taken us until now to bring forward to you the policy that we're recommending for discretionary spending on behalf of the board, and happy to answer any questions you may have about it.
Any questions? Okay, any comment from the public on this item? Anyone online?
I do have.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, if any of the board members elect not to utilize the funds, that goes back to the general fund?
Yeah, at the end, it's usually the August of after the June 30th where everything gets trued up. It would go back into the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What's your pleasure, board?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6I.
6I, Public Works Department Administration Services Division, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution approving a cash flow loan for the road fund, Fund 1180, in the amount of $3 million.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Andrea Saldati, Deputy Director with Public Works. I want to take a couple minutes to actually go over the road fund and how our money comes in. I promise you I will be brief. I know we are getting close to lunch, but I think with this much money being asked for in a cash flow loan for basic operation and maintenance, I think there is a little bit of an explanation that needs to come behind it. So the road fund, I have a bit of an analogy. So think of the road fund as a single income household. That single income is our highway user tax, and that is roughly $530,000 a month. That is what we live off of every single month. We do have additional funds that come in annually or after reimbursements, but essentially think of that dollar amount as your household income. That's your paycheck that you live off of to pay your bills. Our biggest expense is salaries and benefits, and that's to the tune of $390,000 a month. So you can see how much we are left with to then pay our utilities, things like PG&E for traffic signals and streetlights, the operation of our shops, fuel for our equipment. This is at the point where we have not even put staff out on the road yet. Over time, we've seen a reduction in essentially our household income. And so we are at the point where we have lost so much of our monthly income that we've cut POs back, our purchase orders back for asphalt. Years ago, we would have a couple $1,000,000 in asphalt. We're lucky if we can do $700,000 in asphalt. Our equipment, we've got airboard requirements to replace our big equipment items. We used to have millions of dollars in our equipment budget. We have a couple $100,000, which isn't going to replace much of anything other than our fleet vehicles. So in talking about that, that's our operation and maintenance. That's one really expensive kid. We have another really expensive kid, which is our capital projects. Those capital projects cost us millions and millions of dollars. And although they have reimbursements behind it, we have to spend our regular household income on paying for those capital improvement projects before we can get reimbursed. So we struggle, we try to balance paying for our regular monthly expenses and also paying for our expenditures for capital improvements. In 1 month for our capital improvements, we had to pay out $3 million, hence why we are here right now. We have already submitted the claims to the state, but again, it's kind of like waiting for your money from somebody you've loaned it to, right? You paid for a bill for a family member and you're waiting for them to pay you back. You really don't know when you're going to get paid back. You just trust that you will. The snow event that we had in the beginning of the year was detrimental to the road fund. We have currently spent $4 million just on the event alone. 2.1 million was on snow removal and 2.4 was on essentially emergency protective measures. We have since done some of the replacement and rehabbing some of the things that were destroyed during that. We've spent roughly $1.3 million on that. And we have another $2.1 million on 33 additional sites that still need to be repaired. All told, we are into the snow event for over $8.5 million, and that's just our contractors. That's not our staff. That's not our time. And although we are submitting everything to FEMA, again, we will wait. We are always waiting for reimbursement. So again, we live off of roughly $525,000 a month, and we struggle to balance that. And so we are here today to ask for the $3 million loan because of that situation. We had to pay out, and that was 1 month, 3 invoices, $3 million. And because of the snow event, it essentially just took the road fund down to minuscule dollars left. And so that's why we're asking for the $3 million. The $3 million is coming from the high-speed rail money. We had previously used that money to cash flow the Road 200 bridge project. And so we have since been reimbursed, and now we are recycling that cash to be able to do this. So long story short, the reason behind the $3 million is because the road fund struggles. The road fund struggles every single day to pay bills and to pay for projects, and we have to prioritize what it is that we pay for and when we pay for it. So I'm here for any questions.
Any questions?
I do have a couple comments in regards to the snow event and the overall, I think, FEMA reimbursement process. So it's not necessarily tied to this item, but I've talked with staff a number of times about, this process, the reimbursement process, going through, all the bureaucratic, hoops to jump through in order to get our money back that we're spending as a result of these disasters. And I hesitate to provide direction that could, create more work for staff, knowing that we have had so much additional work to do. But as someone that sits here and is, responsible for the policies and all these things, I think it's important that we go back and we look at what's happened, where there's room for improvement, not only internally, so we can work towards, getting these projects done, working towards getting reimbursements faster, but also so we can make recommendations to the state and the feds about, how they can improve upon their processes. And I know this is, again, not necessarily, tied to this item, but I do believe it's something that this county needs to, investigate. We need to look into, because you know, the state and the Fed are constantly talking about climate change, you know, the effects of climate change and how we will continue to, you know, see more disasters of this nature. So I think it's prudent of this board to work towards, you know, continuous improvement on these efforts. So I do thank staff for all their work on this. I think this is, you know, as you indicated, it's essential for the road department to continue. But I think for the county more holistically, it's essential that we look at all this and look at where we can make improvements moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yeah, go ahead.
like to follow up on Supervisor McCauley's comments. Last week, I attended an RCRC meeting, and the director of the OCS was there, Office of Emergency Services, and she gave a very nice presentation, and you can tell that she's somebody who wants to get stuff done, and wants to do everything she can do to help the counties. And that particular issue that Supervisor brought up was brought up several times. So what I would recommend is, rather than reinventing the wheel, contact RCRC and the staff, and we can kind of work with them as far as their efforts to work through these issues, because that was a big issue that was discussed. And second of all, thank you so much for the presentation. I think that unfortunately, and it's a never-ending education process to the public in terms of why we don't have the money for certain road improvements. You know, we've got inflation, we've got mandates from the state, we have, and then, you know, these natural flood and snow events. You know, we don't, you know, it's not in the budget like for a, 50-year storm. Oh, hey, man, we've got, $10 million set aside for that. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Okay. I already went out to the public on this. I'm going to take it out to the public. Any public comment?
Yeah, good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Jared with Public Works. I appreciate the comments. And I could tell you that we are very frustrated with the processes and always trying to look for ways to improve on that, working with FEMA, OES, all those folks. And, to Supervisor Poitras's point, I know that at CSAC conference, this was a discussion item in one of the sessions that was pretty frustrating, I will say the word, for a lot of the agencies in dealing with FEMA and how that can be improved. So I know that there are a lot of efforts happening on a lot of fronts for that stuff. I did just wanted to make a quick comment though. Andrea kind of presented and laid out some of the challenges we have with the road fund and doing that. And I would just say that, there's really no way to describe what it takes to figure out how to do this and make things work. Andrea has, figured out a methodology and a way to keep us afloat and make sure that we're able to do the things that we do on a daily basis on projects. I could tell you that, not to sound harsh on her, but I sometimes I'm scared to come ask her if I've got money to do something, but I appreciate that she tells me the straight answer and gives me, good information and helps us through that process. So I just can't say enough about her efforts and what she does with her team and everybody who works to keep things moving and doing this, this show and game with the funding that we have. I learned that very early on in my career when I started with the county that, it wasn't as simple as, hey, there's money, go build something. You have to understand all these programs and how they work and what you need to do to be able to use that funding and then be able to recycle that money and keep things moving. So just wanted to say I appreciate, Andrea's work on all this.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Not bring it back to the board. What's the pleasure?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6J.
6J, Public Works Department Administrative Services Division, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution approving a cash flow loan for Transit Fund 6386 in the amount of $1.2 million.
Afternoon, members of the board. Andrea Saldati again, Deputy Director of Public Works. This is a cash flow loan for $1.2 million. This money is strictly to be tied up in purchase orders to buy 6 new buses. Essentially what we are doing is we're taking a cash flow loan and we will immediately issue purchase orders for those 6 buses. The lead time for the buses and when the funds will expire, these are state funds. And so we needed to get this on now, or else we would not receive the buses in time to be able to fully expend all the funds. So we could have piecemealed the buses a little bit, but we figured we needed to get in line because everybody is having these same Air Board requirements to purchase new vehicles. So this again is high-speed rail dollars that we are recycling again as a cash flow loan.
Okay. Any comment from the public on this item? Not, I bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6K.
6K, Public Works Department, Engineering Services Division. Introduction of an ordinance amending section 10.36.010 of chapter 10.36 of the Madera County Code for adding subsection S thereto related to parking restrictions on Treasure Hills Drive, frontage road within Tesoro Viejo development. Waive the first reading and set the second reading for January 9th, 2024.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board, Jared with Public Works. This item is for adding an additional subsection to our no parking ordinance in the county code. As mentioned, this is specific to areas in Tesoro Viejo along Treasure Hills Boulevard. These are basically side residential frontage roads where they're experiencing parking on both sides, which is restricting the flow of traffic. So we're looking at installing these no parking zones just on one side of those frontage roads to eliminate that issue. And there'll still be parking along the curbside in front of the residents, but on the median side, there will not be. So I'm available for any questions.
Okay, any questions? Now I'm gonna take it out to the public. Any comment from the public? Anyone online?
None online.
Bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
I'll move to waive the reading and set the second reading for January 9th.
Second.
Motion and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay, item 6I.
Behavioral Health Services Department, presentation on the opioid settlement fund spending plan for Madera County.
Is it still morning? No, no, good afternoon. Hi, Connie Moreno Praza, Director of Behavioral Health Services, and I have my Dr. Bill Ward from the department, the Sheriff Department, Commander, who will help me co-present today. And I want to recognize our partners who are still here. Thank you for hanging in there, Dr. Paul, Deborah, Tyson, and all the partners here. Thank you so much. So don't see we'll be able to see the PowerPoint. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet since we are coming back from having been here back in September. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the information that you've seen before. I'm supposed to do that. Sorry. Apologies on that. So we're coming back to report briefly on the planning process that we used as you requested. I want to thank our CAO, Jay Varney, and our Assistant CAO, Joel Bouguet, for supporting us in putting this process together. And I want to publicly thank Sarah Boss, who could not be here today, who I was lucky to have her help us facilitate the process. So I want to thank her. I think she's still in Portugal. But again, I want to thank and recognize our planning committee. You asked us to reconvene our work group, ensure that we have our law enforcement, police, sheriff, our DA, et cetera, to be more involved in the process so that we can include their input. I want to share with you that we were able to include Dr. Massetti from the schools. We were able to reach out to our Chuck Chansey, so our Behavioral Advisory Board. So we were able to include more people, and we are very thankful to everybody for helping us with this important process. So again, I just highlighted some of the things. We did have several meetings, as you can see. to ensure that we had the multi-department, multi-agency input and guidance on how to best invest these funds. We share some data, thanks to Dr. Paul, who helped us share some data the last time we came. Again, the opioid epidemic is not decreasing, it continues to increase. We have shared with you with these maps that in our Oakhurst area, Supervisor McCauley's district, we talked to you also as well as having us need to focus in that area more as the data gets reviewed. As we've shared, we have definitely human impacts. We are losing lives, all ages, no discrimination on what ages get affected. We shared this data with you the last time, and it continues to increase. And we're trying to implement some strategies that can help us reduce and or eliminate it if we're lucky. We also talked about the opioid settlement funds that we are blessed to have received an allocation. We are monitoring those payments on a pretty regular basis. I do have Erin Garcia, our fiscal manager, and of course our Joe Bugay, our assistant CAO, who are very versed as well in details with the budget. But we are blessed that we continue to get funds that allow us to spend the funds in the priorities that we're going to mention in just a minute. So we identified, our work group identified five priorities, funding priorities we want to bring here to you today to ensure that we address the gaps, not only that have been noted by different surveys and our assessments have been done in the community, including our public health assessments, behavioral health assessments, other data that we obtained from our partners. We agreed that this process was going to be data-driven, and we agree that we're going to look at evidence-based practices that work so we can show results. So one of the priorities that was identified, and we do want to focus in the Oakhurst area. We do want to focus resources and expand our capacity there. We currently have only one counselor, but the goal is to, on priority one, to increase access to substance abuse treatment by reducing, hopefully we can reduce the addiction and other substance use disorders. Most of our clients don't come just with one substance and or just alcohol or just opiate or just, particular drug of choice, but they come with multiple. So we want to address it from the co-occurring disorders as well. And then our clients also present with mental health disorders. So if you can see, we want to increase capacity as we've been mobilizing our services throughout the county with our access line. We want to ensure that we continue using the evidence-based practice to do assessment, to provide the treatment in an outpatient setting, to ensure that we provide aftercare, or it's called relapse prevention, so folks can remain alcohol and drug-free with a weekly group that we want to actually increase the capacity there. Also to do warm handoffs, to do case management, continue to use the multidisciplinary team approach that helps us address the problem from multiple perspectives, not just mental health or substance abuse. And again, the goal is to provide SUD services to 60 individuals per year by adding this position. The second priority is to, I co-chair with Dr. Paul, and thanks to Deborah, we kind of chair what's called the COPE initiative, Community Opioid Prevention Effort, which were part of a statewide initiative that began a couple of years ago. I believe now there's 6 counties that are doing this, possibly more. We want to sustain that. Behavioral health will continue to cover 0.5 FTE, half of a position, and we want to use half of this position to make it whole. And then to also add to this position with the hospital closure, we want to have someone that can help us not only track, but identify and also link to services the folks who are using the different hospitals in our area. That approach is going to be similar to how we currently track our folks who are in psychiatric facilities. We will do this and ensure that this person mirrors and or we can benchmark the bridge program as well in Fresno and other places where we have system navigators that can help us connect our folks with what they need. Also to start a overdose death review panel to do what is called a community support group, like a peer support and mentoring, to develop communication strategy, and then to provide, again, linkage to treatment and other resources in the county. Funding priority number 3 is I will have Dr. Bill Ward talk about that priority.
Bill Ward with the Sheriff's Office. So the Sheriff's Office portion of this is it's a program called Keeping It Real. It's basically the new iteration of the DARE program that a lot of people are familiar with. It was revamped in about 2012. So we're looking to hire a deputy sheriff to serve as a keeping it real instructor in the K-12 schools. It is an evidence-based program, substance abuse prevention. The whole idea is preventing before it starts in the, the younger years to prevent the substance use before it even starts. It's a 10-week program in the schools, about 45-minute lessons. The deputy would have to go to an 80-hour course to become certified as an instructor. And it's currently used in about 6,000 agencies over about 10,000 communities. Over 1 million children have gone through this already. We would do pre-assessments and post-assessments also to track and see what good it's doing.
Good, thank you.
The fourth funding priority has to do with accountability, to kind of hold ourselves accountable with how these funds are being spent and how we're investing them. So the group recommended that we establish an administrative analyst position that can help us develop this tracking of outcomes and costs associated with these funds to ensure that we develop a pretty robust data collection system so they can help us with decision-making in the additional investments that may come in the future. Develop MOUs or agreements or some type of protocols with the hospitals nearby to ensure, again, that we monitor and track folks who enter those systems, and then to develop an annual report on some of the performance outcomes related to these initiatives and funds. And last but not least, we also came up with priority number 5. Some of you recall we did get funding for us to build our crisis stabilization unit and our sobering center. That construction project does require that the county provides a match. It's required. So these funds can be used for that one-time match requirement. So we see this as a great opportunity to invest these funds in this match requirement. Again, one time. The opioid settlement funds get replenished. We receive different payments so that we can keep that 80% of the funding coming in. And then also, we want to ensure that we keep looking at these funds and prioritize them as necessary. But for this one-time investment, we think it's a great opportunity to maximize these funds. This next slide just shows you the different positions that I described in the different funding priorities. The substance abuse counselor, health education coordinator, the administrative analyst, and then the one-time investment of the opioid settlement funds for the match requirement. So the total that we came up with was $1.5 million. We will leverage, as we currently do, Medi-Cal. We have other funds like realignment, MHSA. We have other funds that we want to leverage as much as possible in conjunction with these funds. Again, to remain accountable to you, our CAO and assistant CAO, and our communities, we do want to have phase 1 implementation timeline. This particular excellent work group stakeholders that we have, we want it to be the oversight committee, kind of to keep things moving and again, monitoring that things are happening. We will continue to meet as a multi-department meeting. We want to definitely share with you, want to recruit and hire the staff that we need for the different priorities, implement the COPE activities. We want to implement keeping it real, as you heard earlier, develop the outcomes and performance measures, and then definitely we are required, behavioral health is required to submit the annual report, expenditure report every year. So we will do that by June of 2024. It's due, I think, I think they moved it to September, so I may have to update this timeline where we have to submit that report. And then we also agreed that we want to provide you with annual progress reports, as we do with other plans that we have in place. So again, so we can keep you informed and we can reprioritize if necessary. And as we evaluate the different priorities and the initiatives that we're putting together, if we agree to eliminate one or continue one or add a new one, we want to be able to, we keep coming to you for your review and approval. So with that, because I have my partners here, and of course, Dr. Ward, if you have any questions that we can answer.
Any
Thank you.
questions? Any questions? Questions? And so, oh, go ahead.
Supervisor, I was just gonna make a comment. I recall back in 2018 or so, when we first started talking about the settlement funds, I don't think anybody had ever heard of fentanyl, at least on our board. And opioids seemed to be a big problem back in states like Pennsylvania and New England states and so forth. But it didn't take too long to where, man, it was just, we're hearing about it. We've got all these issues here in the streets, and so I know the district attorney in Fresno County as well here in Madera County, both have been very on the forefront of issuing warnings and wanting to save kids in this regard. But anyway, it's just how quickly this thing ramped up to become a huge problem. So thank you for your work and the collaboration and cooperation and whatever we can do to help out. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you may have heard the Governor Newsom release information of how that drug trank is being used to lace fentanyl. So it's causing even more problems, not just fentanyl, but everything else that is getting laced with it. And again, they're getting younger and younger. And that's why our COPE initiative is trying to also address our schools and working with our schools and train folks to administer the Narcan to save a life. Our COPE initiative is working really well with our community. So thank you for that.
Just wanted to make a couple comments and thank you for the collaborative approach and how you kind of put this together for us. Structuring the different priorities and outlining it is very helpful. And it just seems like you guys did a fantastic job, not only collaborating, but really addressing all the priorities of the board. We spent a lot of time talking about working upstream with our youth, and I see that there. And we were talking about treatment, and I see treatment addressed here, as well as priority 5 around our sobering center. So thank you for all the work with this. And just if you can refresh my memory in regards to the sobering center, that'll be located here in the valley. Is that correct?
Yes, we are planning to build it over by the jail on Road 28 or Tosa Road, so we can become part of a multi-campus center.
Okay.
Yes, and also our crisis stabilization unit will be adjacent to each other. So that's the plan.
Okay. Thank you again. I commend you for all your work on this.
Any further comment? Okay, if there's no other comment, take it out to the public. Any public comment? No public comment? Okay, bring it back to the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
Chair,
Okay, let's vote.
sorry, Chair, this was a presentation. I'm not sure that there was any approvals needed. And I
Right.
think that
Oh,
all the
okay.
projects would be coming back
Take it back.
and so.
Oh, okay, so we,
Still approve.
okay, so I will negate that then.
We were so excited.
No fun. I
Did not
apologize.
see that. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, glad you caught that. On to the letter that was brought forth for RC&D.
So this letter that was brought to the board's attention this morning is a letter of support for a group called Cocoa AIM. It sounds like some sort of chocolate game or something. It's not. It's coalitions and collaboratives incorporated in their program is action, implementation, and mitigation. We have supported our partners in a previous Cocoa AIM grant that was successful. So you have the letter in front of you, and this application, our understanding, is due Friday. That's the need for the necessity, and we only learned of it yesterday.
Any public comment on this item? Now I'll bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve?
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Walmhoff,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Any pending legislation? None? Okay.
No, Chair.
There's none right now. We will be bringing a letter of opposition to AB 702 to your first meeting in January.
Thank you very much.
Is that the probation one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'll start at this end with supervisor staff reports. Supervisor Gonzalez.
I just want to wish everyone happy and safe holidays. That's my report.
Thank you. Very good.
Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., Golden Valley Chamber of Commerce has a mixer, and it's going to be right there at the chamber office on Avenue 12. And on Thursday, have Ranchos Kiwanis meeting at 6 p.m. at Second Sons in the Ranchos as well. And so that's all. That's all I got.
That's great. And I also would like to wish everyone happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah. And, you know, it's really important to spend time with family. And there are those who don't have family. So adopt somebody into your family, invite them to Christmas dinner or Hanukkah celebration and enjoy time with them. And that would be an important thing. My wife has encouraged that every year. There was an old gentleman who we had to Christmas dinner for years and years and years. And it really made a difference in his life. So let's make a difference in somebody's life.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Last week I attended a couple meetings out of town in RCRC in Sacramento and CalCog in Riverside. And just to mention, as far as the issues from a 30,000 foot level, we're not alone in terms of unfunded mandates and difficulty in funding efforts, whether they might be roads or infrastructure, staff for research and things that are required. And that there are definitely a coalition of people that are that we're working together with to move forward. That said, there are a lot of victories out there as well. So it's not all gloom and doom. And so that's the positive thing to look at. But again, it just kind of, both of those meetings kind of highlighted the disconnect between some of the circular mandates and dictates that emerge from Sacramento. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor McCauley.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Last Thursday, I had a great town hall with the Insurance Commissioner's Office. They joined us to talk about the sustainable insurance strategy, of which I do have some concerns with. It is a fairly unfinished plan. So the Assembly will be reviewing that on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. They have a hearing. So I'll be listening in there to see if there's any new information that the Insurance Commissioner's Office has to share about those plans. But they will be implemented next year, 2024, and they will affect all of us, not just those of us that live in the very high fire severity. So definitely something to take note of and pay attention.
Okay, clerk of the board,
Nothing to report. Thank you.
county council.
No report, Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have two things. One is before the board reconvenes, Raymond Huerta will be officially retired. So after 30-ish years of serving us and knowing every nook and cranny of every building that the county owns and operates, he'll be sorely missed. We will introduce his replacement if they are on board at the earliest meeting in January. If not, then later in January. And there is a retirement party offsite scheduled for him. I'd be happy to share that information with the board. I don't believe it's open to the public, so I won't share the exact date and time and location right now. And also, Stephanie and Agneson had something that she wanted to include under staff reports.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Stephanie and Agneson, Director of Water and Natural Resources. I just wanted to make sure you had a copy of a letter that's been sent by a number of advocacy groups, including groups that we are in. It's a letter from the Association of California Water Agencies, CSAC, RCRC, Farm Bureau, Western Growers, and the Association of Chamber of Commerces. This is a letter to the state board providing feedback on their process so far and on what seems to be happening with the Tulare Lake Subbasin, which is, of course, the first one to go to a probationary hearing. So we often get asked what we are doing in terms of pushing back. I think this is a really good example of how we've built a diverse coalition of organizations that have a lot of respect statewide and should be listened to. So for example, some of the key points made is we need a process, both not just for going to the probationary hearing, but for getting out of probation. Another point is that we need a process for submitting revised GSPs and understanding how that would be reviewed by the board. The Chowchilla Basin, for example, has already submitted revised GSPs to the board, and it's really unclear how they can review that or how they can provide comment. So I just wanted to bring the letter to your attention. It's really good. It summarizes some of the feedback we've provided, but now we have a broad coalition giving that feedback. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good news.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Matt.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize for the late notice, but I at least wanted to finish out the year. And, first and foremost, I guess, thank all of the staff that makes up the development services, our public works and community economic development and water and natural resource, and all the hard work over the years, but it starts with the support of this board. So I wanted to thank the board as well over the last year, and our CAO and county council and the clerk of the board. So just wanted to finish out the year and wish everybody a happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Also. All right, if there's nothing else to come before us, this meeting will be adjourned. I'm going to gavel out for the last time in 2023.